Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, satsakal, aloha, hola, ciao, bonjour, Buddha, and Vivian and Mabuhay. It's really, really good to be with you again, and I know you'll be so happy you're joining us because we have a very cool guest with us, and it's Cristina Balhui, who is an emotional intelligence specialist. I'm so happy to have you with us, Cristina. Welcome.
Thank you, Samia. I'm so happy and grateful for the opportunity to be here with you to share about me and what's my objective for this year. And not only this has been my purpose for the past 7 years in helping parents to help their children.
Oh, that's amazing. Tell us more, actually, about who you are and what you do. How do you help parents help their kids?
Yeah, so I'm a humble human being. I'm a woman, I'm a mother, wife, and also an entrepreneur. I'm here to serve and help parents, mostly to help their kids in this very crazy world that we're living right now. To tell you a bit about myself, I'm originally from Romania. I was born there, lived there for the 33 years until we moved to Dubai in 2013. And there in Dubai, after coming from a corporate world for more than 15 years, I decided to shift a bit towards my life passion, to understand more about how our mind works, to understand how we can shift and change the programs that are no longer useful. So I dived into hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy, it was a course delivered by the amazing Beryl Komar, who opened so many doors and connected so many dots in understanding the way our mind works, understanding ways of helping us and helping others. And through that course, I remember she brought the idea of helping kids as well through a very simple and non-invasive process called sleep talk. And in that point in time, we are going through, I have two kids. We have two kids. So we are a family of four. And at that time, our kids were 7 and 8 years old, two girls, and were in like a fire zone a lot of the times. So we said, when we heard that, okay, there is this process that can help improve this aspect among many others, I said, okay, being a skeptic at my foundation, this is who I am. I'm willing to go deeper to see things, how they work on myself first before sharing it with others. So I said, okay, fine. I understood that from what we have done to our parenting, there were some mistakes. We have good intentions, but not always completely prepared. You know, the kids are not coming with a manual when they are coming into this world. So we realized that we've done some of the mistakes. We chose to learn from those lessons and implement a tool, a method that was promising to help with this aspect of sibling rivalry among helping with confidence, helping with correcting poor behavior, maybe nail biting, bedwetting, poor sleep, bad routine, and many, many more. I will talk about it. So, but what put me into this process was the desire of helping my kids to get better, to have much more peace in the house, to be much more, and to win our kids back, the relationship with our kids back. So that was the main idea behind doing this. So I said, okay, I'll give it a chance. I trained into the process, I completed, and they were my case studies, one of the few the case studies that I have done. So we started to do the process. Before that, I want to tell you that, for example, the youngest one, when she was drawing the three of us, me, her father, and her, without her sister in the picture.
Oh.
Her sister was not there. So I said, okay, fine, let's see what this process is going to offer us, because we've been told and trained to do it in a very consistent way, committed and following exactly the protocol and the process. I said, okay, we'll give it a go. We are 100% because things were going too much south, and we've done it, both of us, me and my husband. So in less than 2 weeks, we noticed on the board our daughter drawing the 4 of us, no longer 3 of us, and writing love under all 4 of us. And that was actually, this is starting to pay off. Is starting to give results, starting to see, and actually we noticed a reduction in their fights. At that point, after 2 weeks, it was like a reduction of 50%, which was big. I mean, we are able to have much more quality time, and we are going out without being worried that we'll start fighting in the middle of the dinner that we have. So that started to pay off, and I was blown away by the results, and I said, yes, I'm keep on doing it until I see full results. And that it was not only that the results of them getting well together, but also the results of more harmony in the house, harmony going out, and their overall well-being and confidence was increased. I said, okay, fine, then this process really works. It worked on us, and definitely it's going to work, because of course there are hundreds of testimonials. It's not a process that came live, like say 10 years ago. It has a background of 5 decades when it came to life. So I became passionate about this process. I dropped it for a while in the transition, moving to Canada. So we lived in Dubai for 7 years, moving to Canada until we settled, figure out what needs to be done and adjusting. It took me a while until I transitioned back and realized, yes, this is a tool that I'm passionate about, and I would like and love to share it with the whole world, so as many people can have access to it to improve their relationship with their kids, to win their kids back, to bring harmony, self-confidence, and much more.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing your story. It's actually, in some ways, like, you raised some really interesting points for us to dig into. And also, it's very inspiring and hopeful to hear your example of what you have experienced yourself and how you've been helping others. It's truly the relationship that parents and children have. I mean, that's the starting point for all of us in our lives, and it continues to be one of the most fundamental and impactful relationships for all of us. Tell me more about what you see as maybe one of the core challenges that parents struggle with when they're trying to help their kids, and perhaps also from the kids' perspective, what's one of the core challenges the kids are struggling with?
Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode. Hope you're getting value out of it. For your information, this episode has been sponsored by the Happiness 101 program. Are you a change maker, coach, trainer, or healer? Are chains of fear holding you back from making the impact and income you desire? Using a unique combination of positive psychology and the spiritual wisdom of our most effective change makers, the Happiness 101 program helps you break through your limiting beliefs and manifest the abundance and success you desire with fun and ease. Interested? Book a free Happiness 101 exploration call with me, your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Just use my online calendar link in the show notes. Now, back to the show.
So what I've noticed lately, and from working with parents, this technology era boost up. So there is a lot of going on in terms of technology and exposure to technology, but it's not only that. As you mentioned, we start from our family. Our roots are from there. And you might already know that between 0 to 6 or 7 years old, kids are functioning only on the subconscious mind, the emotional mind. And even Einstein said it, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, and many people in the scientific realm said it, that that's the time when kids are just, it's like pressing a record button and they just record. They will not be able to make a difference between good programs and unuseful negative programs. So they are like a sponge, absorbing, like a recording everything, and they function based on those programs that are coming from the family, that are coming from outside of family, from the environment in school, in the relationship that they have with their relative, friends, and even from movies. They can take programs and behaviors from their favorite character and take it as their being their own. So the challenge is mostly when things are happening, maybe bullying in the school, for example, to understand, yes, you'll be able to help your child through this process and shifting and understanding that, yes, there is an issue. My child dropped his confidence. He has been or she has been bullied and is no longer willing to go to school. It's having a low self-esteem, is no longer sleeping well because of that. So many aspects have changed. But also it's important to understand that the environment that they were is not beneficial for them. So we can do the process, we can shift and help them build up back the confidence, but it's important to shift that environment as well. Yeah, it's not easy, but once you have identified that the environment that your child is in is not beneficial for them, it's highly important to shift and pull them out of that environment. And as I said, kids take programs and take behaviors from their peers. Once you identify that the circle of and the group of friends that the child is in, you need to shift and change, work around in a smooth and pleasant way to pull your child out of there and shift that. As well, as I said, we are parents. We are not perfect. We have the best intentions, but sometimes ourselves we are coming with programs from the past that are not beneficial. So once we identify, and it was in our case as well, identifying, okay, there's something that we need to shift and change within ourselves as parents, things started to shift even faster. So the challenge is sometimes accepting and taking the responsibility that change needs to start within us as parents, taking the responsibility to pull out our kids from an environment that is not beneficial, although might seem like the toughest thing to be done, but it's highly important to have the awareness, and take the responsibility of doing it. Because working with parents, they ended up, I had many cases when kids were no longer willing to sleep in their beds. And having a child who is 5, 7, 8 years old coming and sleeping with the parents is not something that you wish to have. So their sleep routine has been highly impacted. Their not only the sleep routine, but the whole behavior towards learning, towards peers, towards teachers, towards their siblings has shifted and changed. So identifying is the first step. Becoming aware there is an issue that needs to be corrected. That's the first point in going forward.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So to be more aware of what you need to change in yourself as a parent, to think about if you need to change the environment for the child, and and then you can begin to actually work with the child on specific behavior. So to also then be aware of when your child starts to show symptoms that they're having some kind of trouble and challenge. Wow.
Yeah, and the beauty of this program, of this process, is that it's comprehensive and it's a compatible method for kids between 0 to 14 years old. So, but of course, it's going to, you'll see results depending on the, let's say, how tough is the problem, how strong is the problem that they are going through, and of course the age. So the evolution of the child will be, and the improvement will be different of a 3 years old who has been through this life for 3 years compared to somebody who is 10 years old. So they had a lot more experience into this life, and they have accumulated many more other experiences that were not so beneficial to themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the way.
Yeah. Wow. Gosh, there's just so much for us to dig into. You know, when you were talking about the different things that as a parent you need to be aware of in yourself, about the environment your child is in, but then also the struggles of the child, it just made me think of like my experience as a child. Because you're right. I mean, all of these things are so impactful. I mean, I know for me, when I was growing up, one of the big challenges that happened was that I got sexually abused as a child. So, I mean, obviously it created a huge trauma. And one of the big challenges, like for me as a child, like, having experienced that trauma, was that the adults around me, including my parents, they didn't seem to realize and recognize that I had experienced major trauma. And I wasn't able to communicate that to them. Like, I wasn't able to tell them. I didn't have the words and the language or the courage to come out and say some horrible thing has happened to me and what has happened to me and who is responsible. And so I did, have significant changes in my behavior, but my parents didn't know how to understand those changes in behavior. And in some ways, I mean, they had to obviously make sense about why I had changed in behavior in some ways. And I can't speak for my parents, but I know it's like really tough because we had so many things going on in our life. It wasn't just that I had that one experience. Our family as a whole went through various, difficult times as a family, including financial crises and having to deal with communal violence going on in the community between Hindus and Muslims, and being forced to immigrate to a different country and, adapt to a completely new culture with new language and so on and so forth. And so, you know, there could, and so I think in a lot of that transition and our family as a whole experiencing difficult times, my parents, uh, struggled to understand what was going on with me and why it was going on with me. And so then to be able to help me effectively, so and then in the context of, even later on when I was in my teenage years, when I had more capacity and ability to understand at least what had happened to myself, the environment that I was in was not helping, because by that time we actually had moved back to live with my larger family, and unfortunately, it was a member of my larger family, my extended family, who had engaged in abuse. So so then I was getting constantly triggered by the environment. And so whatever steps, for example, that my mom was constantly trying to help me feel better, to improve my mood, things like that. But because I was constantly getting triggered also, being around the person who had abused me, like it wouldn't work, it wouldn't help. So these issues can get um, so complex. And then now I can see actually with what I know and having, gained more insight, not just into my own experience, but, you know, into my mom's experience. Um, as she has shared different parts of her life with me growing up, um, that she was dealing with her own traumas too, you know? So all of that can just get so complicated. And so it's like helpful to have somebody to help you and guide you and break things down for you. Be like, no, you know what? You need to look at this, and this area. And it's not just one thing, but, to look at it in this holistic way.
Exactly. Yeah. As a parent, we have a tough, not challenge, but it's a tough task. To let's say it's not easy, but also it's we can make it work. We can make and help our kids be better. Yes, we are going through, like, it's like life looks to go a lot on fast forward. I mean, things are happening at a very fast pace, and sometimes as parents we are so busy looking to provide, to have the basic necessity fulfilled, and sometimes it's exhausting to be able to keep up with what's going on in our children's life. Because if you are not meeting the basic necessity, bringing food on the table, having a proper shelter, then yes, it's becoming much more, that's the main focus than the child. But indeed, having this holistic method, it's something that it's very smooth and easy. It's not taking too much time off the parent. It's like 2-3 minutes a night when our subconscious it's up there to identify. It's quiet around. There is no distraction. So having this type of awareness and helping parents to understand is not only one thing that needs to be done and you're doing this process and it's all sorted out. Yes, this process helps a lot. I mean, it's one of the tools that you need to have handy. It's like, yeah, you can say it's the magic wand of the parents that they can use it, but I'm helping parents to become aware, as you mentioned, of other steps and aspects that they need to look into when they are noticing a sudden change in the behavior of their child, or sudden change in the evolution in their school process, sudden change in the interaction that they have. Yeah, that's like a red flag showing that, okay, something happened. Why my child all of a sudden is coming to sleep with me when until a week ago all was fine. So yes, we just need to pay attention to what's going on around our kids and do our best as parents to help. Nobody's perfect. I mean, from my point of view, through the learning that I went through, my target is to be better today than I was yesterday, and notice what I can do better today than I've done yesterday. What are the lessons that I need to learn? How I can correct what I've done wrong in some ways. So yes, it's tough. We have a tough task as parents. Sometimes we are coming, as you mentioned, with our own traumas. And it's important to also share with our kids the lessons from there, to teach our kids about forgiveness. And forgiveness is not for that person, because it was a horror and terrifying and no words to describe what that person has done, but understanding that if we keep ourselves in that anger, in that hate, in that resentment, it's still on us. We are being kept and still controlled by that person. I'm not saying it's a tough situation when abuses are happening within the extended family, and it's tough to to deal with this. That's why I said it's important to shift and change the environment once you understand from where it's coming. Sometimes it's not that easy because we are going through very tough situations when you cannot just live, but some other stuff can be done around that.
Yes, like it's true. You just made me um, uh, remember like one of the very key lessons that I've learned in my life, and you used a somewhat different language to talk about it, but this idea that if your kid's showing behavior that you find problematic, to not um, label your kid or to think, because in the dominant society, the tendency is to be very judgmental. And when your kids are acting out, the tendency is to be like, "What's wrong with you?" To think there's something wrong with the child, rather than thinking about looking into what has happened to your child, what's going on in their environment, what might they have experienced because of which they are now showing these problematic behaviors. So to have that approach, which is not judgmental, but rather aims to come, with compassion and empathy, um, and that is a really, really huge key, I must say. Um, and
Exactly.
also, yeah, and then just also again being aware of um, like your own self and what you may need to work on and change with yourself. Like with one of the things that I noticed with my mom uh, is that, I mean, I realize that now as an adult, that she actually experienced mental emotional abuse growing up. And because and the way that she was taught to respond, because it was like a lot of adults in her life, like she was also growing up in a joint family context, and there were some really abusive adults in the family. And unfortunately, the way that she was taught to deal with that was to mm, uh, like in our culture, in our Asian culture, there's this huge respect for elders, and you're also trying to maintain peace in the family and have everyone get along in the family. And so when someone, especially if it's an adult, that is behaving in a way that's less than ideal, you're nonetheless told to just kind of take it. Like you're not supposed to be rude to them. You're not supposed to um, argue back or, um, you know, act out uh, towards that adult, because, they're supposed to hold this position of authority and all of that. And so in some ways, she learned to sort of repress and suppress her own emotions and her own anxieties and things like that. And so it's like if that's something that she has developed as a pattern in how she deals with trauma and anxiety and, experiencing people uh, being abusive, then, it's like, what is she going to teach me as her daughter about how to um, react or respond um, to people in my life who because what, one of the things that I was doing was that I was acting out and being rude to this person who had abused me, and I refused to uh, play nice with them, and and it caused all kinds of raised eyebrows and worse in the family in terms of my getting labeled as some like as a bad child, you know
Yeah.
And it upset my mom that, I was getting that label, and she was constantly trying to um, uh, motivate me to to be more polite, and things like that. So um, it's like, for the parent, like, that's why I really appreciated that one of the big things that you talk about focusing on is being more aware of what you need to change within yourself. Um, and I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit more about that. So you've shared that you have this one process that really helps with the kids, like, in so far as beginning to help them shift their behavior and thinking. But what about the parents? Like, as a parent, what are some things that you can do for yourself to get more awareness of where you need to create changes in yourself, and then how do you do it? Begin to create those shifts for yourself.
Yeah, so you nailed it very well about being more compassionate and non-judgmental, because a child behavior is just a symptom. As you said, it's a symptom that has a root cause. So being compassionate, being empathetic, and being there for the child in a very loving way is going to help them to feel safe and secure, and start to gain back the trust and confidence in us as a parent, and also starts to understand that my parents are here to help protect me, instead of being the one, what's wrong with you. So as a parent, I can talk about myself and the way I'm helping my clients as well. So, for example, to take my own example, at that time, I remember I was raising my tone quite a lot throughout the period that I was with my kids, and I was seeing them fighting. I was able to understand, okay, they have taken something from me, and they have took it as a way that's normal, because they take, as I said, at that age, they take it as being their own, and that's the normality. So I had to step back to understand, okay, how, and it's like an introspection that I was doing with me, and having the tools that I started to learn to understand, okay, this is what I need to shift first inside of me. I need to find a way from where is this trigger of raising my tone instead of speaking calmly and to my kids. So I understood that was a trauma coming from the past, from school, and from a teacher that I was having. So I went through a process of guidance from my friends that I was doing the training with, from my teacher as well, having like coaching and hypnosis. So it was that, for me, it's like the part that I came to fully understand what was actually triggering that was an experience that I had at a younger age, and then understanding that how that was impacting my day-to-day life when kids were around. I was able to heal that inner child. So it was, so as I said, we are operating based on the program that we have learned in the past. Some are good, some are not that beneficial. So identifying and working at the subconscious level to understand which are the triggers, which are the traumas, which are the programs that are determining us, which are playing in the background and making us to be who we are. And we identify, okay, this behavior of mine is not beneficial in the whole family structure, and starting to take steps into that, understanding that you have the power to heal yourself through the guidance and of somebody that has this type of training experience, and you can heal your inner child and become much more in tune with the real you, with the person that came here like with full love towards others. We came here into this world full of love and full of compassion and kindness. Experiences happened in our life, programs happened in our life that changed and shifted. But through this type of coaching, through this type of diving into our past experiences to understand what triggered us, what determined to be who we are today, it's helping us to shift and change. And this type of tools is like a guiding tool. It's not a leading tool, because leading, it's a very dangerous aspect to go through. But it's guiding, being there and to hold that space in a safe environment, non-judgmental environment, where parents can be expressing themselves without fear of being judged, without fear that somebody will just look at them and judge them in a not pleasant way. So I'm there to guide and help also parents if they are choosing to work on themselves with me. I can offer these services. I have done this for many years now, helping parents from mothers to fathers as well. Yeah, I work more with mothers, but I had fathers working with me. So yeah, the first step is becoming aware of there's something inside me that is not quite the way it should be. I feel that there's a change that needs to be done. I don't know how to do it. I need some guidance. So these are insights. Yes, meditation can help. Breathing, it's an excellent tool that can help and calm down in the moment. However, until you go and sort out the root cause of your real problem, you'll keep on coming back to the same pattern, to the same behavior.
Yeah. You just made me think about, do you have any insight on that you would like to share with us now about the dynamics between the parents? Because, again, thinking back to my own experiences, I definitely, the way I grew up, had way more interaction with my mom. I mean, she was constantly around me, whereas a lot of times my dad wasn't there. I mean, he was there, but he was not there at the same level of intensity and closeness. And they are my parents, like many parents, they have distinct personalities and distinct approaches to discipline, to how they deal with us in general and how they express their love, etc. And sometimes if the parents are not on the same page,
yes, each is aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when the parents are not on the same page and they are using different methods that are contradicting each other, that will be a whole chaos in the child's mind. Who am I supposed to listen? Who is right? Who is wrong? Whom do I follow? So yes, the relationship between parents plays a huge role in the dynamic of the family, of course. So that's why I am 100 into the space of parents coming on the same page at a common ground, the way that they are raising their child. And that's why I believe it's maybe utopic, but it's important even from high school to bring these parenting courses into their life, to understand what means to be a parent, or what are the skills, what needs to happen in a family dynamic. Yes, and it's a huge importance to be on the same page with your partner, because it's like otherwise you are creating a lot of confusion in your child's mind.
Yes.
And also in the single families, when separation has happened, again, it's important to be there and to encourage communication in again, coming back on a non-judgmental way, because you'll understand even our kids can be angry, but they are coming angry from different experiences that they went through. They had a tough day. Not only us as adults are going through tough days. They have their own tough days at their own level. So Yes, it's a lot to also work on ourselves as parents and understanding, because as I mentioned, if you keep on repeating and bringing the child back in the same environment where the issue has been created, yes, you'll have the issue sorted out for a while, then putting back the child in the same environment is not going to do anything else but bring the child back into the same pattern, same issues, sometimes even worse. So yeah, family dynamics plays a huge role, and and also this process that I'm talking about, the method, involves both parents. Yes, one of the parents might be very abusive, true, but the child needs also to feel the love, to understand that he or she is being loved by both parents, because it's like a missing piece if a child is not feeling the love from the other one of the sides. It doesn't really matter which one is that. So yes, it's like encouraging the whole process, encouraging to and helps the child feel love fully from both sides. Yes, parents need to work on themselves. Yes, it's our duty as a parent to protect our children from abusive relationships, whatever those relationships are. So, but it's important that the child feels that it's enough, it's good enough to have the love of both parents.
Yeah, yeah. And the dynamics between the parents, I mean, that's a part of the environment that you're in. So to have that awareness also, that when you think about the environment the child is in and needing to maybe change the environment, there's like so many layers to it, that it's influenced by, it's like, what's the environment at home, in terms of the relationship with the parents, the relationship between the parents, relationship with siblings, with other family members, what might be going on in school, with friends outside of school. So there's like so much to think about, and not to mention, things that might be going on in the world that influence us. Like, whew, it truly can get complex. So
Yeah.
it's like so good to have help and support.
And guidance in through and understanding what can be done, how can be done, what are the steps to improve and win back our kids, to help them also to water and plant the seeds for a healthy and successful person, and also to give them the chance to operate at their full potential. Because when a child is being bullied, for example, in school, that person is closing down a lot and is no longer living at the full potential, and starts to wonder what's wrong with me, why they are doing this to me. So it's about helping the child as well, as parents, to understand, or if it is the case, to go and ask for help in this result. So yes, I'm working with parents to help the children, not directly with the child, but with parents to help their children, and also to offer guidance when it's the case, to go even more to other specialists.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing. Oh, man, there's so much to talk about over here because, man, I think we'll just have to bring you back to share more insights and wisdom with us. Because I was just thinking how, dealing with a situation where your child is getting bullied. I mean, my gosh, there's so many potential complexities in how you as a parent can help your child in a situation like that. Because like in my case, I know, the trauma of sexual abuse, at least, that I experienced. Thankfully, it was confined to a relatively small period of time, like happened over the course of a summer. So, but then it was over. Um, but like for a child who's being bullied, I mean, this can go on for months and months, sometimes years and years. And so it's like, oh my gosh. But that's a whole, it can open a whole different dialogue for us to engage in. So I know we are running out of time also. You have got to go. So do you have any last words to share with us for now?
I would like to invite parents to be compassionate and kind towards themselves first, and to understand that they are doing their best to their best abilities and best what they have been raised to, and they are in a world where so many challenges are around us. So I invite them to be compassionate and kind towards themselves, so they can be more compassionate and kind towards their kids and help their kids, and less and less judgmental towards the, let's say, so-called mistakes that we have done through our parenting process. So yes, I invite them to offer themselves as well more love and compassion.
That's amazing. That is very, very wise and hopeful bit of wisdom that you've shared with us is a perfect way for us to sort of wrap up for today. And my last reminder to our audience will be to please remember to check the show notes, because we will be dropping Christina's links in there. You can connect with her and get more help and support from her, especially, in the context of you being a parent, wanting to help your kids even more and better. So until we connect next time, I wish you lots and lots of peace and joy.